I love about this face-to-face campaign is it's really the basis of the whole thing. You can meet someone via email, and you can communicate, and you can even Skype with them, maybe, right? But until you meet someone and get to know them and create some rapport, you're not going to have really, I think, significant international relationships and business opportunities. What occurred for me was getting to go on these various trips. I met all sorts of different people, had all sorts of different opportunities. They could look me in the face, I could crack a joke, they would groan or laugh, whatever the case may be, and I get to know them and see how legitimate their business was and that kind of thing. And so all of this is important, but boy, that fifth one, keeping it personal. So let's talk about these. So first of all, so preparation. What I'm talking about is, I'm a real big believer in doing your homework in any part of business, but especially something as new and different as international business. Can I say, I know most of us are new to international business in this room. A couple, yeah, maybe a third. Great, so you know what I'm talking about. You have to spend some time getting your business ready for the changes, because doing business with people with different values, different cultures, different etiquette systems, different ways of doing business, different paces of doing business, just takes some getting used to. So I think it really helps to learn about international business, especially in the country that you're going to be doing business in. Read what you can read. Find the articles. Find the magazine articles. Do a webinar. Listen to a webinar or a podcast. The great thing about business today is there's so much opportunity to learn out there. There's so much help out there. When I grew up, my dad owned carpet stores in Southern California. And he owned and sold carpet in Southern California. That's all he could do, because there was no internet, there was no global business, nothing. And he used to say, our word of mouth advertising starts with you. And I think today he would say our word of mouth advertising starts online. And a lot of this is going to start online. I'm sure that's where most of you maybe met the people you're going to go see. But you have to get ready to do your business, because it's a different world. Getting your employees trained, getting them ready, having them understand. You're going to have to do it together. You're going to all be in it together. And then even money differences. I'm going to talk about this later today in a lot more detail, but even that's a big deal. So here's a couple things. We are in a new flat world, and I think the important thing is to start with your foundation. As you think about going global, you have a business that works. You wouldn't be here in this room today if you didn't have a business that works. So whatever it is that you do, double down on that. Yeah, you're going to expand, you're going to try something new, but you're going to not go so far afield that the learning curve is so steep that it takes a lot of your time and resources to do it. You want to do what you do best, I think, and to take it globally. You have people, you tap their resources. Our employees have all sorts of skills we may not know. May not have to hire new people, but you do have to find out what it is they can do that can help you in this process. I say give yourself extra time. Americans are very quick by nature, right? We do things quicker, and business is pretty fast here. And you'll find in Hong Kong that might be the same. You might find in Western countries that might be the same, but not always. And if you're in other countries, the pace may be slower. Doing a deal may take longer. It's going to take more time to do your business than you think it's going to. Probably, it's going to maybe cost more. It's definitely going to take longer, I bet, than you think it is. The people you're going to work with, you want to check references. And local trade associations are a great resource for finding out more about that business, about that industry, and learning about that country. Because what I'm saying is, doing your homework is so important. So, learning about local trade associations and finding and tapping into them. The second is understanding, and I think this may be the most important thing, and appreciating cultural differences. Because this is where the most mistakes can happen. This is where you can get into danger when you don't communicate clearly, or you're not on the same page. You think you're on the same page, but you aren't really. A couple of years ago, I wrote a book. What we did in that book was look at people who had innovative new ideas for a business, and then how do they take that creative, innovative idea and turn it into a global business. And I looked at things like how Teflon was invented. One of the ones I looked at was a small company in Southern California in the 50s and 60s, a toy manufacturer. There was a woman who owned the company at the time, wanted to figure out, her business was fine, it was no big deal, and she really was trying to figure out something new and different she could do, a toy that they could come up with that would be innovative and help take her business to the next level. Because isn't that what we're all trying to do today? Take our business to the next level, and that's exactly what she was trying to do. And one day she had her big idea. She noticed that her daughter liked to play with paper dolls. not actually the real dolls that her toy company made and the other toy companies made, because it was interesting. Here's why. At that time, every doll was a baby. Every doll was a baby, so the girls could pretend to be mommies. But the paper dolls that she brought home, that she had found and brought home one day, weren't babies. They were stewardesses, they were veterinarians, they were doctors. And as she watched her daughter play, she realized, oh, my daughter can pretend to be anything when she plays with one of these paper dolls. She doesn't want to just pretend to be a mom. Maybe she does. Maybe she also wants to pretend to be an astronaut or something, right? So that's when she had her idea, I'm going to make a doll that looks like a woman and not like a baby. That was a radical thought at the time. So you probably figured it out already by now, but she had a daughter. Ruth Handler had a daughter. Her name was? Barbara. Yep, that's right. There she is. Barbara was her daughter's name, and Barbara did have a brother. There's that handsome guy right there. But it took Ruth Handler, from the moment she got that inspiration, almost 10 years to get Barbie to the market. Because back then in the 60s, she had to figure out a way to make an altogether new product. A cost-effective place for her to do that at the time was Japan. Remember, I'm going to date myself, but made in Japan, well, at that time was inexpensive goods. And so they had to have people in their employment learn Japanese. And they had to go to Japan and set up a manufacturing point, and how you actually sew that little hair on the little doll's heads, because it was done by hand at the time. Little print dresses that are this big, it was a really different idea. But by doing that and creating those international relationships and doing her homework and understanding and appreciating the cultural differences, she ended up creating Barbie. And actually, when Barbie hit the international toy show, and I think in '63 or so, it was kind of a flop. But a couple of toy manufacturers, a couple of dealers bought them, and they flew off the shelves. And today the rest is history. I have a friend, in fact, who is he's the PR guy for Mattel, and he tells me that the average girl in America owns 3 to 4 Barbies. I thought, what planet is this guy living on? I don't know about you. My daughters are past the Barbie stage; they're teenagers now. But when they played with Barbie, 3 to 4 was just the start of their collection. I mean that box we have in the garage today, it's just amazing. He did tell me one other thing about a new Barbie. She's kind of secret. I can share it with you, okay? Her name is Divorce Barbie. She's a little expensive. She's $10,000, but she comes with Ken's house and Ken's boat and Ken's car, so maybe it's not such a bad deal. So we have to appreciate cultural differences. So here's a couple tips I want to give you. One is, as I said initially, slow down, build rapport, make it personal. Especially in Asia, my experience, the business card is such an important thing. When someone gives you a business card, you're expected to look at it and read it, which is, what do we do here in this country? Thank you, right? It goes in the pocket, it gets filed away, and goes in the iPhone later or something like that. But that's not what you'll find in a lot of countries. They actually want to see they're going to read your business card, and you're going to read their business card. And if you don't, it's disrespectful. I would say dress conservatively for the most part. We are in an era of more casual business, right? I'm even wearing a tie this morning, and that's 10 years of difference. 10 years ago, I would never have not worn a tie to give a speech. So we are a more casual business etiquette in the United States, but that's not true across the rest of the planet, really. So conservative dress, you really kind of can't go wrong. Appreciate titles. Titles are a big deal to people. Careful about touching. Again, we as Americans, very friendly. We like to touch on the arm. We like that as a sign of affection. But that's not always true in other places. So, just watch first. And then learning a little language and the custom and the politics makes a big difference.